Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope you're well. We are back in Misty Marsh and I'm just looking around today, just seeing what we're going to work on next. We've got to start cracking on with some of our scenery stuff really. Got a couple of new habitats in the last few episodes, so I feel like I need to start getting the scenery finished off. I might do a little bit of work just here. We've got a load of space here without vegetation. All of this up here hasn't got vegetation on, and we've got this around here. It feels sensible kind of linking this stuff all together, doesn't it, and kind of finishing it all off. So I think I might do that. Should we start over here with this corner, because this is just the edge of the zoo here, so it kind of makes sense, I think, to kind of round this off. So I know I am sort of copying and pasting bits of this, but I don't mind that. I think it works to a degree as long as you vegetate it differently. Is that a word? Vegetate it differently? Does that make sense? No, probably not. Right, let's get some new rocks coming in here then. Right, let's get rid of the old aligning. And let's start filling this out. So let's start by creating a kind of an edge right along the pathway here. Something like that. While I'm doing this, let's chat. I have downloaded the new DLC. I can't even remember what it's called, but it's got honey badgers in it, which is very cool. So I'm going to do honey badgers soon, because they're one of my favourite animals. I see them. Where do I see them? It's Howlett's Wildlife Park in the southeast of England. It's one of those that I've been to all my life. I just love it there, and yeah, I see them there. They're one of those animals. I remember when I first started going there, I didn't see them at all. It's probably the first dozen times that we went there when I was small. They just weren't around. They never came out of their bed, and it was really annoying. I didn't think they were in there. I just didn't. I just assumed that they weren't actually there because you never saw them, which was very sad. You can imagine as a child, every time I got there, I was very excited to go and see the honey badgers, and I never saw them, which was sad, but there we go. But now they changed their habitat. They redid their home a bit, and it seems to have made them come out a bit more, which is great. Obviously, you don't want to see animals forced to coming out, but I just think it did something, and it just encouraged them to venture out into the enclosure a bit more. They're lovely little creatures. I think they're classed as bears rather than badgers, but I don't know. I'm not an expert. I haven't actually looked them up in the game yet, so I've not been able to read about them. But yeah, they're cool. So I'm very happy to have them now. So I'm just building this up. I think what I'll do here is create a... Let's have a look. How's this going to look if I do this sort of thing? Create like a rocky ledge that has the pathway kind of going along it, and it makes a nice little tunnel underneath. I think that looks pretty cool. And I want this to all feel very cramped. You know, I want it to feel enclosed, like you are walking through tiny little passageways. Which is quite easy to do really with this sort of technique where you just chuck in rocks in left, right and centre. Now, a little bit trickier here. I do worry that I'm already putting a lot of rocks into this zoo. There we go. I'll just keep going until my computer says, hopefully it won't. So thanks for all your feedback as well so far. Everyone seems to be enjoying what I'm doing here, which is great. Now, I have already thought about my next zoo, believe it or not. I might mention this actually in the last episode, I'm not sure. But yes, I have a fun idea for the next zoo, something on a much bigger scale, which I think could be great to do. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can do this one for quite some time, because I am having a lot of fun here. What do I want to do here? I think I will just build this up with rocks, I think, here. And obviously the vegetation is what will really make these bits stand out. Yeah. That's a weird rock, that one that I just put down there. It looks like a whole different sort of moss, doesn't it? I'm just going to cover that up because I don't really like the look of it. So what I'm thinking here, create a bit of an edge here, and then I'll make a little custom path edge, like a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Fence is the word I'm looking for, along the edge of the bridge. So here I'm just going to build this up, make it look like a big sort of natural rock pile. Something like that. Oh, I quite like that being quite a sharp edge on that side. Right, and then I need to kind of link it here. I think I'll cover up the edge of the pathway on this side, I think. Right, how's this look at the edge? I need a... What do I need? Something like this. Just on that edge there. Okay, there we go. And then we've just got a little bit here to block out. Lovely. Ah, now that looks a bit dodgy there, doesn't it? Let's just get that filled in with a nice big one. Nice. Okay, so you know, yeah, so we've got, let's have a look, we've got this, hang on, we've still got a whole load showing down here, so let's just get this covered up. Obviously there will be some vegetation down in these gaps, so you don't need to worry too much about filling them out completely. Just a little bit like that, just when you're looking straight down you can't see to the bottoms of the world. That looks quite nice actually, having the water just cascading on the side there. I think that looks nice. Right, so we've got our rock work done there now. That looks nice. And then we come out, we've still got this to do which leads into there, which is a whole different project in a way. And then we need to come back along here and do this as well. Actually, let's just going to cover this up in here as well, so we haven't got this bare rock showing through. Something like that. Just wondering if I just need to blend a bit of that into there as well. Actually, it's just looking a little bit too different, that bit, isn't it? I think it'll look a bit nice if I can just blend a bit of this rock into it like that. Yeah, that looks fine. So I'm just trying to get the sort of the person's point of view as we come down here now. I think that looks really nice. Obviously ignore that in there, and then you just walk under there and you come up through this ravine, you know, and you can't see anything other than rocks, which is kind of the idea. And you get to the top and you can go that way, or you can come through this nice misty tunnel which will lead through to here, and eventually this will all look very similar. Cool, let's just do a little bit of custom fencing on here then, shall we? So I've already got some lovely pieces like this favorited, so what I'll do is just use this to create something. Hang on, let's get some angle snapping going on. Right, not quite sure how this is going to work. It's quite a big piece, isn't it? What else have we got? That's an even bigger piece, but that actually works a bit nicer, I would say. Yeah, let's go with that. Right, what have we got here? Yeah, I think that looks quite nice. I'll tell you what, let's get that towards the edge. And then the same there. Actually, I'll tell you what, I need to just get these combined first. Right, so what I'm thinking here is, can I do something like this, where it's, oh, I'll tell you what, actually, let's just see if this works. Something like that. Let's just get that lined up a bit better. That looks quite nice, doesn't it? And then hopefully I can just duplicate that straight up like that, and bish bash bosh, there's your little custom fence. So where do we want this to and from? Hang on, let's get rid of that snapping. Let's just sink it in a little bit. So what I'll do, I'm gonna go up to this line in the pathway here, I think. And obviously I can move the rocks afterwards. And I can kind of do this kind of thing, kind of link them together. Just wondering, because you end up with this little gap just here. I wonder if I can. Yeah, I can kind of blend them together like that. I might need to spin a few of these posts because they got the pattern looking the same, which doesn't look great. But yeah, I can kind of blend them together like that. That looks quite nice, actually, I think. And then this one, I think, will be the last one. Just bring it in like that. Cool. And then because it logically, can I actually, if I just blend all of that together, let's just see if I can just duplicate that straight over to this side. It should basically be the same, shouldn't it? Like the same curve. Just wonder. I just need to adjust it a little bit, but it is virtually the same if I do that. Yeah, it goes further because it's on the inside, but I don't mind that. You never, because it's bending, you're never quite going to get it to line up on both bits. It lines up there, but it's never going to line up there, is it? Because it's just taking a shorter path, basically. But I can do something here. In fact, I can do. I could do something with these, couldn't I? Let's have a think. Actually, the big one might work better. Because I can kind of match it up a bit like this. I quite like these being really bright white as well, actually. I don't mind that. Makes them stand out quite nicely, doesn't it? And in fact, what I might be able to do because there are, we've got like all these little pieces. Okay, it's a bit odd. Align to surface doesn't actually make it align to the surface. Yeah, no, that's really tricky because it's at a funny angle. How bizarre is that? They've obviously not quite programmed that right with the surface. But there we go. I'd just get a couple maybe just on here. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit of decoration there. Yeah, I quite like that. That's cool. And then I can always, maybe, let's just have a look in here. I wonder if I can get anything kind of viney hanging on there. No, that's not going to work. But we have got this kind of thing, haven't we? Hang on, let's get rid of the aligning for a second. Let's see if this can look half decent in any way. I'll tell you what, actually, let's not have it between the two. Let's have it between that and the rock. I think that's going to work better, isn't it? Like that, and then get an extra rock in up here. There we go, got some nice moss hanging on there. That looks cool. There we go, so that's a nice little entranceway over your bridge there now. And then I'll just move that one back like that. Actually, let's just go a little bit more. Excellent stuff. Good, right, so there we go, there's our little bridge done. That's looking nice. Vegetation, this is the big job really. Because this is what is going to make the whole zoo kind of pop out and look good. And I've got a lot of vegetation to do, really, starting from this entrance all the way through here. And I should have done it as I went along, really, because it's quite boring. I'll be honest. It's quite repetitive doing all this, but at the same time, it makes the difference. Right, now this stuff I have found that doing the align to surface does work quite nicely. It's never perfect, but it does look good. Yeah, so I think what I'll do is I will kind of come along and do all different sizes at the same time. I won't do the pathways because I'll do like the bottom, I'll do that a bit different, I think, because I don't want that aligning to surface around the bottom. Doesn't quite work. You'll see what I mean in a minute when I come back and do that. But yeah, rather than doing the whole lot in like the big size and then coming back and doing the smaller ones, I'll try and kind of do it all at the same time. For this individual plant anyway. But then I have got sort of thoughts on how I'm going to do the pathway type, like the edges of the path. I want it to feel really overgrown, is what I'm trying to say, kind of along the edge of the path. Now, what should I do? Yeah, let's do the waterfall next. It's always tricky getting all this looking good. It's another one of these situations of just keep on chucking stuff on until eventually it looks good. You have to be careful not to add these onto the pieces as well, because otherwise you end up with them all being attached to one piece, which you don't want. It's very easy to do that accidentally. Right, let's come around the back here. So many ferns, because it just looks great. Once you lay all these things up and then you start adding in tree ferns as well, yeah, it's going to look really nice and jungly. Hang on, let's get rid of that one. And just keep on chucking them on. So this is the kind of episode that I talked about at the start of the project, really, where I said there's going to be some episodes where it feels like you've not really got much done, because you're going to have episodes where you're just doing a whole load of foliage and rocks, which I appreciate isn't always going to be the most exciting thing to watch, but I really appreciate you guys just hanging around with me and coming along on this little adventure of mine through this jungle that I'm creating. You know, I'm relaxed playing this in this style, so I hope you guys are too. Look at that. See, it's already starting to look a bit nicer, isn't it? Actually, let's keep going along this side. Oops, added to the group. Didn't want that. The good thing is, if you get the odd thing that doesn't look quite right, it's very easy to, well, not notice and not ever notice, because you just don't. You know, there's so much going on that you don't notice every little thing. So if you get the odd plant that's floating in midair, sometimes you'll never notice. Right, yeah, this is looking good. I'm loving this jungly feel. Good, I think that's as far as I'm going to go with this foliage for now. So let's just come back here and get some smaller ones on. Added to the group again. Right, and then I'm going to go back and I'm just going to do what I said around the edges of the pathways. So let me explain what I want to do. Basically, you get rid of all your snapping. So where are we? Let's come back to the entrance. So what I want to do along the edge here is this kind of thing, where you have these plants and you kind of fill in all these little gaps, and you just make it look like they're growing along the edge of the path. Now, what are you doing going in there? You're not staff. Yeah, you get out of there, silly people. So yeah, like this, you see, you just dot them all along the edge, fill in all these little gaps, and that it will really finish that effect of it looking really jungly, because you just got all these things just bursting out of the side of the pathway at you. Yeah, look at that. That looks nice. Right, hang on. Which bit have we done? We've got this pathway up here. Let's do this. And there'll be other things. At the moment, I'm just doing these ferns, but there will be other plants as well. Did I do... I didn't really come over this side of this. Actually, there we go. Let's just get a few more of these on here. Right. Not too much inside the tunnel, I don't think. But then again, once we come out here, just randomly dotting them around. And it would just make this whole side of the pathway just feel like it's properly jungly. Jungly? That's probably not a word either, is it? Yes, it is. Jungly. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, I've got baby brain again. Lack of sleep is not my friend. Okay, see, we've made a bit of an error there because we've got the odd plant floating, which is what happens when you don't have it aligning to surface. Okay. Right, so how is that looking now? See that? It just feels more jungly already, doesn't it? As you walk in here. Not that many people are walking around here. I guess there's not a lot of need for people to come this way, is there, unfortunately? I'll tell you what I was going to do. Actually, I mentioned it in the last episode. I was going to get keeper huts put in, wasn't I? But I've not got time to do that now. So I'll... Wow, he's moonwalking. That's pretty funky, isn't it? This guy is moonwalking all the way back underground. Yeah, so I said I was going to put in some... that was crazy. I was going to put in some keeper huts, and I completely forgot about it at the start of this episode. So I will try and remember and do that in the next episode. Because at the moment we've only got one keeper hut, which is not good. I'll tell you what I might do. I might try and squeeze a shop in somewhere over here. And that's going to have to be where it's flat, so it would have to be kind of here. Let's just see if I can squeeze something in, just to try and encourage people to come this way. Let's go for a chief beef, because they're always quite popular. And let's see if this will connect. Yes, it will. Good. There we go. Right. So this guy is going to be fairly well buried in the undergrowth here, but obviously I don't want it to actually look like he's living inside a rock. Yes, I should probably just move these a little bit, shouldn't I? There we go. I want you to be able to see the back of his shop. I don't mind that poking through a little bit there. There we go. Look, people are coming over already. Okay, that's good. Let's just budge that in there a bit. Let's get rid of that one for a second. Right, let's just come back in here then and just get a little bit more rock work going on here. So I kind of like the idea of this pretty much being covered in rocks. So yeah, it will have other stuff, but I think, I don't know, how much inside can I have this? Not quite there, but about there. So if I can get this so it covers up, kind of like that. Let's just get rid of that for a second. Yeah, so it's kind of buried in the rocks there. And then I'll just get, let's just get a front on. No, actually, let's go stone. Let's keep with the stone theme. What have we got? We got that. Yeah, we've got a couple of nice stone fronts. So let's go with that. There we go. Let's just hide that bit. Yeah, so you've got a nice stone front there. I mean, that's basically all you need to do, really, isn't it? It's really simple. Let's just come back out here. Let's look at our stone here. Just wondering if there's like something that I can do here, just to cover up this orange worktop. Let's just see if I can hide this with the flower pot. There you go. That's kind of funky, isn't it? These aren't quite working at the moment. Yeah, I quite like that as a little worktop. That looks kind of funky. That I like it. Nice. Yeah, actually, I might just keep him open like that. Let's just put in just before the end of the episode. Let's just see if I can just get a little bit of vegetation down here. I haven't done ferns yet. I will obviously come back and do a lot more vegetation. Let's just get a couple there. So yeah, so all of this area, I've only done ferns. There's still going to be bracken. There's going to be tree ferns. Some big ones like these ones as well, these giant, whatever they are, king ferns, stuff like that. So still a lot of vegetation to do in this area, but you kind of get the idea now, I think. And some vines. I'll still try and do some more vines hanging around. I might even create more sort of overhanging bits of stonework, like little tunnel areas, like something like this. I could add in another little sort of like a bridge of stone around here as well. But hopefully that's kind of giving you an idea of what I'm doing and what I want it all to look like. There we go. Good. People are coming over there now because they've got somewhere to go, which is great. And eventually I'll have a habitat probably over here, so they'll have more reason to come over. Not many people coming over and visiting our monkeys. Or are they all just going down the middle maybe? Don't know. Hey ho. There we go. So that is going to do it for this episode. I swear in the next one I will try and remember to put in the keeper huts. But no promises because my memory is shocking. But yeah, let's leave it there for now. So thanks for joining me. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. Please do leave some comments down below if you fancy doing that. And hopefully I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, do take care. Bye for now.